Hi, it's Ed again, and welcome back to the Ygartua Art Chronicles podcast, exploring the life and career of painter Paul Ygartua. In today's episode, we travel back to Europe again, this time to fully immerse ourselves in the Basque country.
And then we head to Sitges, and, well, this is the first time that we actually get the apartment on...
right on the promenade,
Calle Ribera. And the apartment's called El Morante.
Oh, that was great, yeah.
And we had that. We ended up renting that same apartment for about 30 years.
Yeah, it had a balcony.
Summer.
That was about 40-foot long balcony with 3 bedrooms. Oh, it's a great place.
And it ends up just, you know, we have the restaurants.
Just across the street from the beach.
Yeah, right across the street from the beach.
Where I used to sell my paintings, and so everything was like handy.
The Chiringuito was right there.
Yeah.
Santa Maria was right there. So it was just so easy. You know,
so we kept going there for 30 years.
30 years, that's amazing. But, without missing a year, they managed to book it each year.
I don't think we missed a year.
It's amazing.
The only time, that's right.
I don't think we did miss a year.
I don't think so.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it was the only time when we didn't get back to Spain was that period when we were down in Rio and Hawaii. And that was 3.5 odd years. Paul's parents had come to Canada, and as I said to Paul, we must never let that happen. Like 3 years is just too much. You know what I mean? Because your connections, everything that you're doing.
Well, you know what it's like to keep any relationship with relatives. You really do have to see them regularly, once a year at least.
Yeah.
And for us, again, it's the language. Of course, our children were, at that time, of course, they didn't think anything of being in another country, getting on the plane. Everything's just natural,
So tell me a bit about what, just a general, what was the plan for this sort of year? Because it's basically we're talking this chat about a year and a bit, something like that. And there were certain plans and stuff, and people to see. What was the overall plan of what paintings, which areas? It was all planned out because that's the way you guys do it. It's all nice and planned.
We were planning on being in Sitges for Christmas, and then
Germany.
And then we were off to Germany to 2 exhibitions in the
Canadian bases.
Baden and La, which are the Canadian Air Force bases.
But this blue van did give us problems.
The battery went on the way up to Germany. It was dead or dying, and so I stopped in a garage. The guy could get me a battery the next day, so we stayed in the garage overnight, and it was like about 13 below zero. But
and that guy invites us to stay in his home.
Yeah, we never stay in anybody's home.
We don't, how do you know who they are? He was very kind. He was very worried about the very low temperature. But we said, no, we got lots of blankets.
So we all cuddled in blankets.
We kept clothes on and cuddled with all the blankets. So not so enjoyable, but...
So then the next day we headed off to the bases.
The officers' clubs.
So I was working in the officers' clubs while Joanne was in the hotel with the kids most of the time.
Yeah, it was all in one.
They came down to visit me now and again and collect the money.
Well, it was too cold outside, actually. It was probably minus 15.
Oh, God, it was cold. Yeah,
really?
Very cold.
So this was sort of, when was this? In early...
January.
It was January in Germany.
First week,
in 85,
second week of January.
Yeah, it gets pretty chilly. So we did the shows that were great, and then our plan was to head to the Basque country, of course, for the next 8 months, for the children to have the education in sort of the kindergarten there for the both of them, so they would get a really good background with the Spanish,
Well, to get to know the customs and our cousins and family and it's a pretty amazing place as well. I mean, if it wasn't such a great place, you
should look at the photo, get the photograph of.
Yeah, we were going to send that.
Beach has got to be the most beautiful beach in the world.
It's known as the best beach in all of Vizcaya.
Yeah,
and it's got the microclimate. Even though that's what we always say, there's a few tourists, especially at that time, because there's next to no hotels. They have the big sanitarium on the beach, which is very lucky, really.
My grandfather's land stretched from the beach for about a mile inland, and up a mountain. So he had about a mile long, about half a mile wide. They don't have it all now, but they had it then, and it was just amazing. And I, of course, at 4 years of age, would be working with the bulls and the carts and the donkeys and the goats and working the fields with my uncles.
Well, our cousins all have land, but they had quite a bit of land, so...
My cousin's friend's got his caravan on the land because with the COVID problem right now, he can't go away on holidays. So they've decided to go on my land with the caravan and build a little garden and grocery, vegetable garden and everything.
Well, so our apartment, again, our relatives told us, I guess, who to phone or whatever.
Oh, yeah, we got a nice place right in the harbour. So
and that's on the border, Gorliz, Plentzia. I mean, these places, they're, even if you go inside Plentzia, it's only 5-minute, 10-minute walk.
Beautiful old town, Plentzia.
A little bit of geography for people is that we're talking about Gorliz, which is basically very close to Bilbao.
Yeah.
It's not very far.
20 minutes.
20 minutes from Bilbao on the North Spanish coast in the Basque country. And
exactly.
Yes, it has a harbour, very beautiful half-moon
little harbour,
beach. Yeah, geographically it looks fantastic. Right.
Yeah, I never realised
with no
that.
hotels, no nothing on it. It's just now our cousin, who became the mayor of the town, decided to get rid of the rest. There were some restaurants on the beach before.
Yeah,
he pulled everything away and made it so natural. Now there's nothing but like marsh grass and it's just
all as it was.
Yeah.
As it was originally.
And all they've got is now a few little chiringuitos, little teeny places to buy drinks.
Yeah, but not on the beach, though. It's
not
across.
On the beach. It's just across from the beach, The town itself of Gorliz is like a mile from the beach, or half a mile from the beach. So it's quite interesting, design.
Well, there's only... there originally, it's a fishing, farming village, Gorliz.
Yeah.
And it's never been known for tourists. Like Plentzia, they don't have a lot of hotels either, but there is a couple, right?
But there's a river, and the river comes down from the mountains, of course, and there's
and they're medieval.
A beautiful square with it's a really beautiful little old town.
Well, actually,
more picturesque than Gorliz. Gorliz is actually was farmland. So basically, Gorliz is farmhouses
with the caseríos.
Beautiful old, 500-year-old farmhouses, which is what my grandfather's was, And so those are fascinating as well, of course, but doesn't have the same character as an old medieval town.
Like
they're
our
joined.
apartment.
They're actually joined.
Half the apartment was...
On the other side of the mountain of my grandfather's land is Plentzia, and this side is Gorliz.
Oh, I can see the mountain now. Yeah, I'm looking on Google Maps. And Plentzia, it looks proper medieval, and I can see the square. It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah,
you can see Paul's cousin.
You can see my cousin's farm with a swimming pool out at the back.
So you set up base in Gorliz,
we had our apartment down in the harbour there, And the interesting thing in the wintertime there is that they have this group of people, in those days, the chiquiteros, they call them. And these are like pub crawlers. And then lunchtime, they all go to every bar in the town, which is maybe 10 bars, and they have a little teeny glass of wine in each one. It's like a thimbleful. It's not even a glass.
They don't exist, these.
Glasses.
They're so nice, but they don't have them now.
As you walk in, the guy just gets the bottle and tips it upside down and goes bzzz, right along 10 or 15 glasses. You take your little glass, you sip it and drink it, take your time, and then you move on to the next bar, and by the time you get there, the bar it's all lined up again for you. And this way they cater to the bars and keep the businesses alive, And it's
very good.
Great.
Yeah.
It's a custom,
Did you feel obliged to join in with that custom?
Oh, they used to come and throw rocks at my window for me to join them. Are you kidding? I couldn't escape. Joanne used to get mad every lunchtime.
Well, everybody was out. For,
everyone was out.
Going back.
Nowadays, the women they won't let the guys go on their chiquiteros.
That's different.
Now.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
They hardly exist now. Most of them are dead.
Most of them died. Yeah,
but they were. Hey,
alcoholic poisoning or something.
That's right. Yeah, there was some sort of sad stories there. But
so you had your apartment right in a good spot, and you had your family land and plenty of family and relatives all
5-minute
around.
Walk.
That's right.
And the children
painting every day, of course.
Yeah, the children would be about 2 hours in the morning. They go to the kindergarten, and then they come back for lunch for 2 hours. Then they go back for another 2 hours, and then we had Paul's cousin. She came for dinner. Well, we call it dinner. And it was every evening, like the 5 days out of the week. So she only, of course, spoke to them in Spanish. And, of course, nobody did speak English, so that's why Gorliz was a wonderful opportunity. You know, the children, there were, it was, sure, they'd have to understand.
They participated in all the traditional dances.
Oh, yeah, your cousin Edoya.
My cousin was a dance teacher.
And so they did the tradition.
They had the outfits on, and the beret, and the scarves, and the bells, and oh my God.
Well, Anton, he had this sword, which
sword.
It wasn't a plastic sword.
No, it wasn't a play sword.
You know, in other countries, you'd consider it pretty dangerous. Like all you have to do, because they put it over their shoulder. I mean, and then if you move, I mean, you might hit a kid in the eye or something. Yeah. But, you know, they just showed them what to do, and they never seemed to have a problem.
In a country where the kids run after little bulls in a circle, I guess a sword's safe.
That was at the time with the fiestas.
Oh, God,
They had the
There was
bulls.
always accidents, always people raced to hospital. Oh my God! They've changed that now. Yeah, they don't do the bull running anymore.
But they're little bulls, but they did let the children.
Those little bulls are not.
Yeah, but they've
got little horns, and those horns can really hurt.
But they're quite heavy, even though they're babies. But then they also did the large ring, makeshift ring that there was.
They had another thing they used to get pigs, and they put grease all over them, and then send the kids in the ring to try and capture these pigs. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. Never catch one. Yeah, they got grease over them. They run out. They squeeze out of everything. You're never going to catch a pig.
That's a great idea.
These are big bug. These weren't little pigs, you know. They're big.
I should bring that back. That sounds great. Sounds great for a kid's birthday party. 3 hours of that will do.
Are you kidding?
Exactly.
It's the best thing. That's what they used to do.
Love
They'd take them all there. All the kids would be there, little kids as well.
Yeah, like in North America, I mean, that would all be dangerous. But, you know, when you're there, those are the customs. And, you know, it seems to be okay.
Another great game that they don't do anymore that I used to do was they'd have a big long pole, about 15 foot, 20 foot long, at the end of the pier, overhanging the pier, and they'd tie a duck to the end of the pole, and then they'd grease the pole, and you had to get the duck.
What's that?
And the guys would go sliding along the pole trying to get to the end to get this duck, and most of them would never get it. My dad won it one day.
Really?
He had a hell of a technique.
I'm sure your dad won everything.
Oh,
he won
was very amazing.
What do you call it?
When I was a young kid,
arm wrestling
he was obviously still in his
winner.
20s. And he had his hands clasped together, and as he went round, he clasped himself around the pole and then just slid himself along the pole with his arms like that to get the duck. Yeah. And then the duck, of course, swam away, and he had to swim after the duck to catch it in the end. Oh, that was hilarious. They're crazy. They're called rural sports. And it's like anybody can participate.
But the big one was the
bulls,
makeshift.
Pulling the rocks.
That's for the older teenagers, but they'd be pretty drunk, I guess you might say.
Everyone's drunk at that point.
But, it's pretty dangerous, Those were real bulls, but not maybe the biggest bulls, of course not. But what were they?
Well,
Did they have no...
Some of them weren't bulls, they were cows, but they got horns. They've still got horns, and they're wild. I mean,
And they just run, and... What
was the sport? It was running of the bulls through the town, or was it something else? What was it?
No, in a field. In a field, they let these little guys loose, and the idea is to actually, just like the rodeo, to turn them upside down and catch them on the floor,
They had the makeshift walls.
Disable them. It's not easy, let me tell you.
God, blimey, no.
It's not easy.
Not at all.
And you get